Shortly after midnight, during the 1 hour known as the witching hour, Princess Diana was sacrificed before the world in a secret satanic ritual. In pagan witchcraft, it's known as the witching hour from midnight till 1 a.m. The darkest hour, known for invoking power for death and slaughter. The dark arts of Harry Potter use black magic during the witching hour. And that's why they release their books at midnight. Just like when they sunk the Titanic during the witching hour at midnight. But that's another video.
Why do you think they sunk the Titanic on April 15th, the day our taxes are due, during the month of Fools? Because these were the traveling fools in the month of April. And that's why they sunk the Titanic at midnight, during the 13th hour, during the witching hour, on the night of the black moon of death. And that's why the traveling fool's name is Jack. Jack, who wins 2 free tickets to hell. And of course it involves the blue diamond, or the sapphire diamond, because sapphire is the blue gemstone of Saturn. Why do you think the boat was traveling at 22 knots? Because of the Kabbalah. 2/3 or 23 or 666 sunk to the bottom. The fallen angels falling to the dark chaos of the abyss. The Rothschilds and J.P. Morgan owned White Star Lines that made the Titanic. And of course they made it in Belfast, which is Bale Feast. And we're the fools who pay our taxes. And they started it on the night of the black moon of death. The IRS, the traveling fool who thinks he's king for a day aboard the Titanic. The Titanic is named after the Titan Greek gods. And the Titan king is Cronus, or Saturn. And that's why the Illuminati shows you the cover of the phallic pyramid. And that's why they released it on the night of the black moon of death. And now you know why they call it Travel L. Exactly like the traveling fool and Where the Wild Things Are. And that's why he's on a sailboat. Sa-el. And that's why Captain Jack Sparrow arrives in a sailboat as it sinks. Because he's the traveling fool. And that's why they keep showing you the theme of the sinking ship. And that's why they have the Black Pearl of El, or Saturn. And that's why it's the same story of Jack trying to rip off the prize, the girl. But she thinks he's a jack-off. That's why they made 4 films, because of the 4 seasons. So Pirates of the Caribbean and Twilight are basically the same story. The same story of the 2 Jacks trying to bust the cherry of the Virgin. And that's why her name is Elizabeth Swan in the bell dress. And that's why Bella Swan and Elizabeth Swan have red hair, because they come from the Celtic, Druidic Irish. And that's why every Disney film has an innocent little girl who's ready to get her cherry popped by a beast or a monster. For some reason, Disney just can't get enough of the cherry pie. And now you know why they call her Mary Poppins. And a tart is a little or baby pie. And that's why they promote frosted pop cherry tarts. Now you know why the white virgin dove is covered in red blood. And that's why these pedophiles have cherry blossom trees at the White House. And that's why you'll find the cherry blossoms at the U.S. Capitol building. And of course they have plenty of cherry blossoms around the penis of El.
Just like the Statue of Liberty, goddess of the watery abyss. The primordial mound piercing the black chaos of the watery abyss. The Masonic, Egyptian, and Sumerian ancient creation myth. And that's why the Statue of Liberty sits on the primordial mound. Just like the primordial mound on 911. Notice the altar of sacrifice and the 3 pillars on the island and the watery abyss.
Like 3 burning candles, 3 towers fell on the island of New York.
And that's why Harry Potter sits upon the primordial mound of the black chaos of the watery abyss. And of course, the royal family rules from an island. Because Diana was the moon goddess and her twin brother Apollo was the sun god. The twins, grandchildren of the god Saturn. And the goddess Diana and Apollo were born on the island of Delos. So Diana, the moon goddess, was born on an island. And that's why the Illuminati and the royal family buried Princess Diana on an island. And they buried Diana on the same island that the Spencer family buried their dogs and animals. She is surrounded by the oak groves or the forest. Because the ancient Roman moon goddess Diana was goddess of the forest, goddess of the sacred grove. There's even a statue of Diana at the sacrificial site of Bohemian Grove. In Sonoma, California, it's known as Valley of the Moon, the sacred grove of Bohemia in Northern California, where the world elite meet every year during midsummer. Secret rituals of the Illuminati and the world elite. Over 1,000 of the world elite meeting in the sacred groves. And speakers there have included both of the President Bushes as well as ex-President Reagan and Nixon. And that's why the Illuminati use our police to keep us out. But on July 15th, 2000, on the night of the full moon, Alex Jones snuck into the grove and took video evidence of the satanic rituals performed there. A mock human sacrifice caught on tape. If you haven't seen Dark Secrets inside the Bohemian Grove, I suggest you do. Notice that they're sacrificing to the demon god, an owl, because the owl represented the demon goddess of death. Like the demon goddess Lilith or Annis, they made sacrifices to the bull god in the belly of the beast. The bull god is known as El or Baal, known as Saturn, El, Satan, Cronus, the devil, evil. Saturn, or El, is also represented by the owl. The etymology of the word owl is a slave to El. Haven't you always wondered why an owl is always used for clocks? Because Saturn is the wise old owl, Father Time. And that's why the U.S. Capitol sits in the belly of the beast of the owl. Because the U.S. Capitol is where we send our children to be sacrificed in war. And if you still don't believe it, Washington, D.C. is set up and laid out exactly like Solomon's temple. And exactly where the altar of sacrifice is where our state capitol is. And that's why you'll find the owl at the Yale University. And that's why you see Bush holding the owl. And of course the wizard Harry Potter has his own personal owl. And of course the Freemasons use the owl symbolism as well. Clock is a Celtic word that means bell or Baal. Baal or Satan is the bull god El, Saturn. And that's why all churches ring the bell to worship the god Baal, god of the Illuminati. And Baal gives you freedoms or liberties. And that's why if you break the law, you go to jail. Even if you commit murder and you have to go to jail, all you need to do is to pay bail and you can get out free. Because Baal is El. And every satanic worshiper knows that El, Baal, Satan, Saturn is the god of satanic worship.
And the followers of Satan increase his power by giving the satanic horn sign. And that's why the sheeple of the world blindly giving their power to Satan.
And that's why you'll see the world elite giving power to the satanic beast.
And Bush boldly showed his allegiance to Satan. Bush even had America giving the sign of the devil. Freemasons and Satanists both use the same symbolism. The same pentagram you'll find in a church. The same pentagram used by the government. And media companies like CNN always flash the pentagram. In Latin, penta means 5, and gram means to invoke or to send. The pentagram is used to invoke demonic spirits. It's used to gain power for spell casting and curses. Because a spell is from El. Because the pentagram is really a pentalpha. It's made up of 5 fire triangles. The triangle is the same as the letter A, or alpha.
The A is like the truncated pyramid, or the 1.
Because the 1 is El, the fire fertility of the fiery triangle. And if you think the pentagram is really just an innocent star, you're sadly mistaken, because the word star comes from the Babylonian Ishtar. The star represents the 5 elements.